So I don't really have a plan, obviously, for this. Like, we never do, but yeah.
I mean, off the cuff episodes are, they could be pretty good.
Yeah, totally. But I'm ready. I guess I'm ready whenever you are.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You ready to go?
I'm ready to go if you're ready to go.
All right. I mean, do you want... I guess we don't really do an intro anymore. Just start talking, I guess.
Well,
Is that it?
I guess we can do it. Well, no. Yeah, but we should probably... Yeah, well, let's do a little intro. Like, who we are, at least. Not what we're about, because there's nothing really... We're not really about anything. We're about nothing.
Like Seinfeld.
Like Seinfeld. Actually, we did get a comment on one of our... Well, like, on our podcast. I don't remember if it was on Spotify or Apple Podcast, but somebody commented that it was like Seinfeld.
I'll take that as a compliment, because Seinfeld's amazing.
Exactly. That's what I thought it was. It was a 5-star
Cool.
review. Nothing more, nothing less.
Oh, dang.
So, yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. On what episode? Now I'm curious.
I'll find it and I'll send it to you. Because
I don't think Mom knows how to make an alt account, so that's good.
No.
It's good to know.
So.
Okay. Well, I guess kick it off. You're the maestro here.
Oh, am I? Oh, okay. I will take that role tonight. Welcome back to the No Kidding Podcast. I'm Lisa, and I am the sister half of this podcast. And my co-host over here.
You almost said you were Andrew. I'm Andrew. I'm the brother half of this podcast. And I'm a lot less somber. Why are you so somber today?
Oh, do I sound somber? I'm not somber. I'm actually in a really good mood. So
you sound like you're about to deliver some heartbreaking news. You're like, this is the No Kidding Podcast.
And we have some bad news, guys. No.
I apologize, everyone. I'm a little sick today, so I've got a lingering cough. So, apologies.
So you're the somber one.
Apologies.
Essentially.
I should be.
I mean, you just called yourself out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're correct. I can't fight that.
The flu is going around. Everybody's getting
it. It really is.
It's horrible. I don't know how do people survive. I barely survived. You're still surviving. I don't know. Like,
I'm still surviving.
You got sick before me, and I'm just like at the very, very end of my cough. I don't even think I coughed, but maybe a handful of times today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be muted for the listeners, but I will be startling you quite regularly with my throat clearing and stuff, so I apologize.
Yeah, I will be cutting every one of those things out.
One of the nice things about having an editor.
That's right.
And that editor is Lisa.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry if I mess up. Way to call me out. But,
you got that part because you're the editor.
Oh, yeah.
More just hilarious that I'm going to be coughing into your ear.
Into my ear, yeah.
For like 2 hours.
This is going to be torture, guys, for me anyway. You won't even know he's sick, except that he said...
Yeah, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, if you didn't say anything, you would never know.
There's apparently a lot of things at the beginning of this podcast I shouldn't have said, but it is weird though, right? That like everyone is getting... I mean, I knew there was like... I saw the headlines about, whatever. There's like, new bird flu or whatever. But I feel like there's one of those like every couple years, I'm like scanning through the article, just be like, it's not COVID 2.0, right? Or COVID 5.0, whatever we're on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like, no, bad bird flu though. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess.
I don't think it was, was that the bird flu that we all got?
I don't know. What was it? There's like 2 new sicknesses right now.
Oh. Yeah, there is a bird flu, but I got the flu A. Whatever that.
How do you know?
I know.
Flu A.
I
flu
know
B.
because I know who infected me, and who infected me had flu A. So,
how do they know?
Because they got tested.
Oh, you can do that. I mean, I know you get COVID tested, but I didn't think they bothered with flu, unless I figured they would just give them a COVID test and be like, well, it's not COVID, so take an Advil. I don't know.
I don't know. It says, how serious is flu type A? There are several types of flu, but the most dangerous one for humans is usually type A. I
Ooh.
can verify that because it was the worst flu I've ever had. Even
Mine was really bad too.
It was horrible. It was the worst. It was worse than COVID.
I thought I had COVID. I hadn't had COVID yet, so I was like, this must be COVID because it hit me so hard. And I also couldn't smell things correctly. Like I could smell, but it was like everything smelled super chemically.
Oh.
And like to the point where it was like really unsettling for certain types of foods. It was like, oh my God, I can't. It tastes like it's either really bad or somebody poured like ammonia in my soup.
Really? Oh.
It's weird.
Gosh.
But it wasn't COVID. I took a PCR test that I had left over.
Oh, nice. I wonder how long those last. Wow.
Yeah, I think I looked on the box but didn't see a date, so I assume a while.
Okay.
It's only like a year old. I hope they at least last that long.
Well, it does say that the type A flus are viruses that can cause pandemics, including the 1918 pandemic that killed millions of people around the world.
Yeah, that's not good.
So it's...
I mean, to be clear, COVID isn't the only bad illness out there.
No.
But yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just funny, like, how big of a thing COVID was. But this flu thing, that's wiping everybody out. I don't know. It's like silence.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was...
I think people are kind of worn out on it, you know? Like, I think anybody... It's like... if you were to propose today, like, we're going into lockdown, I feel like a lot of people would be like, oh, no.
They'd be like,
I can't do it again.
Forget it.
You can't lock me inside again.
No, they'd be like, revolt. Or they would just not listen and... like whatever.
I would love it.
I know. I mean, you know, like obviously not the flu, but
yeah, like you know, a really good lockdown. Nobody gets hurt.
Yes.
We just hunker down, wait for the flu to blow over, and then go back out. Like 2 months. That'd be great. Good solid world lockdown for like 2 months.
Yeah.
A little a little winter solstice, a little hibernation. That'd be great.
I think everybody needs that, you know?
Really
like,
recharge your batteries.
Every like couple years, we've got to have like...
Yeah, refresh the whole work from home stuff.
Yeah.
We need to bring that back.
Right. I mean, we can't hurt the economy, so let's still be earning incomes and stuff, but...
Oh, yeah. I still want a paycheck. Don't get me wrong. But, you know.
And I still want to pay.
We have all the infrastructure now. No, it's no problem.
Yeah, true. True. It is a lot easier these days. Which is kind of nice. Like, technology has evolved so much that we could take so much advantage of that. If
you know who's the mother of invention?
Who? Technology?
Necessity.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I definitely came up with that.
Of course you did. So, yeah, other than the flu that everybody and their mother has or hasn't gotten yet, but you will. Sorry. They say the best way to get rid of the flu, by the way, is to drink plenty of liquids. I downed so much water and electrolytes that I feel like it did help a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drink nothing but beer. I don't know what the problem is.
Oh, well, there you go. That's why you're still sick and I'm not.
No, I've kind of been relying on, I feel like I'm sick, so it's okay. But I have been like, I feel like really leaning on these liquid IVs that I have.
Oh,
the,
yeah.
like, you know, electrolyte supplement beverage things. I don't know what you call them.
Yeah.
But they are really nice to the point where like I can feel them working in a way that's really satisfying.
Oh.
Like I don't like, maybe it's a placebo. I don't type in the comments if you have ever had this experience. But like I will like drink it. Like I make 16 ounces. Like that's how much the packet says to make. So it's a decent amount. And I've actually been making it with like seltzer water to make like a little soda. And it is like, but by the time I'm halfway through it, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like so much better. Like I already start to feel like my, any kind of sickness or anything starting to go away. I almost feel like a rush in my veins, if that makes any sense.
Oh.
Like, I've had like a real IV before, and I've had a similar sensation. So I wonder if I'm like projecting that from when I thought about it or from when it happened to me, or if it's like an actual thing that happens that I'm experiencing. Because when I got an actual IV, I just assumed like I felt that rushing feeling because they were literally pumping fluid into my veins.
Yeah.
But with that. It's just in my stomach. So I don't know. Maybe I
Like,
thought that it was a rushing feeling, or I attributed it to rushing because they were pumping stuff into my veins, but it was actually just the feeling of getting salty.
maybe.
The feeling of getting electrolyted.
So, yeah. So how long after it happened did you feel that?
You mean when I'm drinking the liquid IV?
Yeah. Is it like you're just having like immediately, or?
Yeah, I'm saying like when I'm like halfway done with the drink, like I'm about 50%, 8 ounces down.
Okay.
I'll start to feel that like feeling like, I don't know. I feel like rushing is the best way to feel it, or to describe it. But I've had rushing feelings that are very unpleasant before. Quite honestly, when I had to get my IV was part of it. So maybe it's just something that's linked to hydration, because they were like, man, you're dehydrated. So I guess I should be drinking these liquid IVs, but the downside is that I'm kind of relying on them now. And so I'm like, I drink coffee all day, and then I'm like, oh, I got to make up for not having drank water all day. So I have a liquid IV, and I'm like, that fixed it. But I assume it'd probably be much better for me to actually drink a decent amount of water throughout the day.
Yeah, it's true. I always have been taught that just drinking water is the best thing you can do. But then I hear all this stuff like, actually, it should have electrolytes and therefore like sports drinks or whatever. But then sports drinks have sugar. So the liquid IVs are kind of like the only alternative that's got the water plus the electrolytes without the sugar type stuff. Unless you get, I guess, flavor kind. But
yeah, mine are flavored, so they're very sugary.
Yeah.
That is the one thing that I'm like literally that's why I put some seltzer in it, because I'm like, this is soda now. Like, this is straight up. If I'm gonna have sugary stuff, I might as well like have a soda, because I rarely have sodas.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, so I don't know, but I can imagine that. And I have like had procedures and stuff where I've had to have things shoved into my veins, and it is such a weird feeling. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had like an IV for like that intensive, that I was aware of it, like that I was awake and aware of it. So I don't know, that would be a weird feeling for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely like a very pleasant feeling.
Like, do you get cold and then warm?
No, like I would say there's a slight chilling effect. Like I start to feel a little bit cooler. But then it doesn't snap back. I don't get warm. It's just kind of like it's like a little bit of a rush, and it kind of like my extremities get a little colder, but then it's just kind of a pleasant fall off. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I'm dying. I don't know.
No, you're not dying.
I'll go out feeling great.
I guess you would. That's true.
Feeling great and hydrated. Look, I got to stay healthy, because I got 2 weddings this weekend.
Oh,
same weekend.
2 in one weekend?
Right on, time to date this podcast. It would be right on Valentine's Day. So right around Valentine's Day. I mean, not right on, but
yeah, but
well, one of them's right on, actually.
I was gonna say, like, if you're gonna do it near Valentine's, why not do it on Valentine's Day? But whatever.
Probably a price thing. I imagine. Well, that's interesting, because it's on a Friday.
Yeah.
So that's not the worst. Like, that's a great day to have a wedding. Well, it's an okay day to have a wedding. It's an acceptable day to have a wedding. If you have a wedding on a Wednesday, nobody's coming.
Right.
Friday, people will come, but like obviously Saturday is the best day to have it, right?
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on your people, but yeah, I think
because you don't want to like come from work to go to a wedding, and you don't want to go on Sunday because you'll be hungover for Monday. So that's my thinking.
That is something to consider. Yeah, true. And Friday is probably cheaper to book things. But if it's Friday the 14th, like, people have plans, you know? That DJ, he's got places to be. He's got a love life too, you know? Yeah,
true. I mean, I assume there's, like, any kind of specialness to a day is going to drive a price, right? Like, there's somebody out there that's going to want to do it. Obviously, somebody did, because I'm going to that wedding.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, that's really cute, though, like, to have a wedding on Valentine's, because then you only have to celebrate love once a year.
Yeah, I feel like everybody kind of you know. Well, I guess it's less so now. There was definitely a push. I don't know, like around 10 years ago, I imagine, like every time Valentine's Day comes up, you'd get a little rabble from the crowd that's just like, such a corporate holiday is made up and just to make people that aren't in relationships feel bad, and then also like make you spend money. It's corporate America. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to go to a nice steak dinner.
Yeah, true.
But now they can be like, well, I got married on that day, so it's my anniversary that I'm celebrating.
You got married on what?
On Valentine's Day, the people will be able to say,
oh, I was going to say,
I got
no,
married
you
on that
didn't.
day.
I was like, I thought you were saying you did. And I was like, whoa, wait, what did I miss?
You didn't go to my second wedding?
Yeah, like, what happened? Okay, because, like, sometimes people get married, like, in ceremony, but then their actual wedding certificate or day is, like, a different day, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that would be, like, a pretty big swing.
Well, we kind of put it on.
Yeah. I never know. But, yeah, I'm all about simplifying, so if it helps, you know, A, help you remember your date, and then B, you only have to remember one, like, special day.
Yeah,
like,
you're already getting a love gift that day. Might as well do it up and actually have a whole anniversary.
Yeah, but on the downside to that is, like, every time you celebrate your anniversary, you're doing it on a holiday, which could make things a little more complicated, you know?
Yes, it's very true. You're like, oh, no, you don't understand. This is just Valentine's Day for y'all. This is my anniversary. Please get up and give me this table.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Anyways, speaking of Valentine's Day, it's our Valentine's Day episode.
Hey! It wasn't really planned that way, but hey, here we are.
Do you have any, like, Valentine's themed things to talk about?
Have you seen Nosferatu?
That's not Valentine's related. But,
well, hang on. All the ladies are into Nosferatu. Haven't you heard?
No.
There's like a bunch of reels and TikToks and stupid shit. That's
really?
Like, it's like 6'5" Nosferatu, like looking for a man. And they're like, they'll have somebody dress up with the mustache and the stupid hat and everything. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
But Nosferatu has a vibe about him for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up because I need to know what it looks like.
And yeah, I mean, obviously a meme. He's an absolute ghoul, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
He's a ghoul. Oh my gosh! Wait, is this? I don't know if I'm looking at the right thing. Is it a scary thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know Nosferatu is like
It's an American Gothic horror film.
Yeah, the origins of like vampires and Dracula and everything like that.
Really? That's weird because I was really into vampires for a long time and I don't recognize this at all.
He's like the pre Dracula vampire. He's like, I don't know. This is supposed to be the first vampire.
Oh my gosh, did you watch this?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know which one you're looking at because there was one from like the 20s or something.
Oh, this one was in 2024.
Yeah. That one.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, what, did you watch it and you liked it?
I mean, it's pretty good. It was like
oh gosh, it got a 2.9 rating.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. I think but I like, I don't know. I feel like people experiment more with horror and I really appreciate that.
Okay.
It's like they take more risks and they do more interesting shots and plots, and it was a period piece, so it's like they really went in on a lot of that kind of stuff. And there was also a lot of stuff that was like, you don't know if what you're seeing is like metaphorical or reality. You know, they kind of play with perception and that kind of stuff. It was interesting.
Okay. No, I like that. I like that idea, that concept. I like the same things. Like if they take a risk, it's interesting. It's something you're not expecting. It's really boring when they do something so obvious and predictable. So, yeah. It's funny because like the first review it says 2.9 rating, and then the first review says, Nosferatu is nothing short of a cinematic masterpiece.
There you go.
5 stars.
Division.
Yeah. I was like, okay, that's a bit different than what I was expecting.
Oh yeah, I see what you're looking at. Audience rating. I wonder if this is one of the splits where it's like, I haven't really looked that much into it, but I wonder if there's one of the splits between like critics and audiences.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where critics are like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever. It's pure cinema. And
yeah.
Audiences are like, what the hell did I just watch?
Exactly. Although the 1922 one got 4 stars. So, but like you said, that could have been like critics. I don't know.
I love IMDb coming like 80 years after a movie was released and be like, no, I'll give it 4 stars.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, have you heard? Oh, I don't know what the saying is, but it's like it's just a funny dig, I think, at the movie industry right now. And
what's that?
Just how there's no original content right now. Like everything is a remake. Everything is like part 2 or part 10 or like they're just like continually feeding off of stuff that's already out there. And on the one hand, I'm like, yeah, that kind of sucks because I would love something more original, unique, whatever. But on the other hand, I think, gosh, it's probably really hard because there's like so much has already been done and so much is already so good that it's hard to top sometimes. But I mean, that's their job. So,
I have a feeling, I mean, I have a couple rants on this, but I'll hit the bullet points. I feel like, a big part of it is that, movies are a big industry now. So like, Hollywood multi-million-dollar like budget films are going to go through a process of approval by committee where they're going to want to hedge their bets on things that are more sure to be successful, right? So no, they don't want to take chances. Even if people will be like, oh, that movie wasn't really good. It's like, it was good enough that it got enough people to go see it that it made money. And then the other thing is just in general, I think that copyright has gotten kind of insane and out of hand to the point where a lot of companies, big companies, lobbied for copyright to get extended and expanded and reach further and further and further under the guise of like, oh, we're doing this for the little guy. But nowadays it's so big and so overreaching where it's just like, oh, lifetime of the author plus 85 years and we can extend it past that and all this other stuff, like to where you can basically lock down a property forever. And it's like, we're doing that for the creator. But then we're going to buy it from the creator at the beginning of like when they make it for $1 million. Wow, you made $1 million. So great. And then they're going to turn it into a billions and billions of dollars franchise that they're going to keep alive forever.
Yeah.
And just continually pumping out. Like they essentially are staking out like real estate in like IP space, which is just like, oh, we own this set of stories, which we know resonated with audiences and are going to be safe bets. So we're just going to keep pressing those buttons and keep cranking out more Star Wars, more whatever, Marvel, everything, all that kind of stuff. And also it just really hampers other people's ability to like build off of that stuff. Cause a lot of, I just named several Disney titles that have gotten that treatment. And Disney got their start like making stories about fairy tales that were in the public domain. Like art is meant to go into the public domain at some point and become a part of culture and just become a part of like the stories that we tell and then that we build off of. All of those stories got started from other core stories, and you can trace a lot of these things back to like Beowulf and the Iliad and the Odyssey and all that stuff. Like you build upon stories and like do new twists and different directions on them, and to have everything essentially locked down into like copyright that's then owned by several like top 3 media conglomerates is like now nobody can really like say, oh, I want to make a superhero movie, it's like, well, better not have somebody that is too much like a Marvel superhero. It's like, well, Marvel has every kind of superhero. Like, what do you want from me? Like, there's going to be a point where they're like, oh, no, you're treading too close. And then people don't want to, again, it's about taking chances. People don't want to bet on a chance like that, because it's like, well, if you're going to make a superhero movie, like, you're going up against this huge media corporation that could sue you into the ground, or just, essentially take over your IP or something. It's just like, ugh. So I feel like artists feel really trapped and unable to experiment.
I guess so. I don't know. I can see that side of it. I also kind of feel like it's one thing to take inspiration, and, like, I don't see how, like, taking inspiration from something and creating a story, like, with it, like, that's how pretty much all movies and art and stories and books and music especially is all inspired by multiple sources that, like, come together and think of an idea and create something new that's unique, but it's still it's still influenced in some way by other people. Like you said, like, there's been so much out there for so long that it's just kind of like in history, how they used to tell stories before you could write things down, and you just, like, tell people, and then that person evolves that story to the next person, and then it just, like, evolves.
Yeah, the original game of telephone.
Yeah, exactly. However, I don't know, like, the idea of actually, like, copying or remaking an already very obviously an already done show or movie or whatever, I don't know, like, maybe artists feel blocked, but at the same time, isn't that the whole point of being an artist, is, like, to create something, not just remake something? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like this kind of goes back to the platitude, I guess, that there's no such thing as an original idea anymore. I feel like I don't think there's ever really been a lot of original ideas. Like, I think humans almost entirely are based on inspiration, and they get, like, things can feel original and unique and like, oh, this is totally brand new, but really it's like just a mixture of a lot of different inspirations that go through a person, an artist, and then that artist adds like 1% of their magic to it that makes it, like, new and unique and different.
But that's like, to me, that is creative, because you're putting your spin on, like, a bunch of different influences. But what I'm saying is, like, when they take one specific influence and recreate it, I feel like, I don't know, sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, but
yeah. I think there's a debate there that's like, and I feel like this also kind of weirdly ties into AI and stuff, but, like, how much do you have to mix together before it's an original idea? It's like you back this off and then you're like, well, what if I blend two things together? It's like, I want Star Wars, but in a fantasy world, like Lord of the Rings, and then you mix those two things together. It's like, is that original idea, or did you just, like, steal two IPs?
Yeah.
It's like, I think it really just comes down to does the viewer, because I think it really comes down to, like, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so
yeah,
does the viewer feel like you didn't waste their time by just retelling something, but rather added something new to the story? Because, like, like I said, Disney, a lot of their original content was just fairy tales that have been told a million times, but, like, to see it in, like, Walt Disney's art style was something new that, like, people really enjoyed watching,
yeah.
And then, you can draw pretty direct parallels between, like, Star Wars and Dune, right? Like, Star Wars really built off of, like, what Frank Herbert, like, originally wrote for, like, set the scene for Dune and everything. And I mean, you can do this for, like, so many different properties. Like, D&D is such, like, a popular thing now, pretty directly based off of, like, Tolkien's Lord of the Rings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a lot of, like, things, even, like, I guess to break more out of the, like, sci-fi and fantasy, like, 50 Shades of Grey was originally like fanfic of Twilight. Like it was originally like literally had the characters of Twilight as the main characters, and then like people liked it so much, like who was it, Stephanie Meyer I think wrote that, or was that Twilight, the writer of 50 Shades of Grey. So many people liked that interpretation that she just changed the names and then sold it as a book.
Yeah.
So it's pretty weird.
Yeah. I mean, inspiration is good. And like you said, like reinterpretation of something, that's also good. Like I don't mind that, you know, if you want to put your own, I don't know, like unique perspective on it, as long as you're not stealing something, that's all fair game, I feel like. Because there's lots of things that, you know, like you said with Disney, for just the example of taking fairy tales and creating them into animations, and then now they're doing them into live action, and it's like a whole nother you know, like type of film. So, and you get a whole nother type of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, but I'd say that's a really interesting way to look at it, because like I feel like a lot of people don't feel like that adds much more to it. Like I've seen a few of those movies and they can be interesting, but like particularly I heard a lot with like The Lion King. They're like, why did you do this? Like it's all animated anyway.
Right,
like there's no people in it. Like when you say it's live action, like it's not even like, it's all CG, so it's kind of like you just made like a photorealistic Lion King, you know, and people were like really confused.
Yeah.
And there was parts of it that just didn't really work because there wasn't like, you can't do as much emotion and like the lion's faces because, you know, whatever, like the realistic animating technique. And it's just like, I felt like a lot of people felt like their time was wasted with those kind of adaptations. Not saying that that's necessarily the case. Like if you like those, that's cool. But it does bring in an interesting question that's like, would it have been better if at some point, you know, Lion King gets into the public domain and then like other people are able to do their interpretations of it? Because it feels like even in Disney's own hands, they potentially don't do as good a job at retelling that story as maybe a whole new brand new artist with their own vision might, if they came into the scene, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's true. But I do think the Lion King live action is a totally different story. It's based off of Scar's story, like Scar's perspective.
Yeah, okay.
But so it is a little bit different. But I I know what you mean about like the fact that it's like, wait, this was supposed to be like live action, but they're animals, so you have to CGI. But so basically it's animation, so you're just like using a different type of animation to create a story. Yeah, like
yeah,
okay, that doesn't really work. But I mean, it doesn't work in the same, I guess, realm of live action.
Yeah,
but yeah, and I feel the same way. Like when, I don't know, like you said, it all depends on the adaptation, the creative spin, like the vision behind the story, and whether or not they're going to do a good job. I guess they have to take their shot and decide, you know, like, hey, I'm going to try this out. People are going to love it. People are going to hate it. It could go well. It could bomb. But I'm really curious to see how I could interpret this movie or this story or this whatever. Yeah, I appreciate that. I just kind of like, it's frustrating sometimes when it's like, oh, they're doing another remake of this whatever it is, like this story or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's so many other stories that they could do. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many other, I don't know, just fascinating stories out there that have never been told, or they have been told, but not in a really well done way. Because that's another thing, is a lot of times with like ideas with businesses or creative arts or anything like that, you know, a lot of people will just say, oh, that's really interesting. I think I could do it better. So then they try to do it better, and then they are better. So people start going to them for that business or like service or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, that's totally fine if they think they can really do the story justice. I don't know. I guess it just, like you said, it just depends on the person. There's so much content out there anyways. So like, even if somebody does remake something, it's like, whatever, who cares? It's not for you. Okay? Like, this is for
Yeah.
somebody else. Like, there's plenty of other content out there that you can watch. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely feel like that's a good lesson to take with a lot of stuff. It's like, I almost get this weird sensation from people like that. Like when stuff enters the zeitgeist, it almost becomes like mandatory. Like, oh, well, now I have to watch that. And I think it's stupid, so I'm angry about it. It's like, you don't really have to engage with this particular piece of media if you don't want to. Like, if you think it's dumb, like, and then people get like upset that it was made. And they're just like, how dare you?
yeah.
How dare you make this thing? It's like, well, somebody liked it. Like, if it doesn't do very well, then like as a business decision, it was a bad idea. But as like an artistic choice, like, don't see it if you don't want to. Like, if the artist wanted to make it, then they made it. Like, you know.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. But it's funny though that like, so I don't know if you've ever gotten into a series or a movie trilogy, or like, not trilogy, but just a movie, you know, chronicles or whatever. And so you're kind of invested, you know, you're invested in that world. And then you're like, you think it's done. And then somebody comes out and wants to try their, I guess, interpretation or whatever of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I have to watch it. Like, obviously, because you're so invested. And so...
Yeah, if you like the world, you're like, well, I should probably watch this, right?
Yeah, yeah. But it's like, okay, but I thought it was done. I want it to be over. I don't want to have to watch it. And I guess you don't have to watch it, but then it's like,
yeah,
oh, okay, well.
I hear this sentiment definitely a lot, all the time. I think... From my perspective, I don't know. I wonder if like I'm not really upset with I'm never upset with additional content to a story unless it was like made over, like picked over making something else that I think would have been better. And I think there's some validity to just the general idea that like, oh, well, this like crappy, in my opinion, this crappy like volume of this thing that I like came out, and now like they have to like release something to fix it or something to like get back on track with like what I like about the universe.
Yeah.
Because like maybe people like yeah definitely a lot. But I'm of the mind that like the thing that you like it already exists, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you like going back to the Star Wars example, like if you like the original trilogy, then that's there. Like nobody's taking that away. Like that's not gone. And like people get upset. They're like, oh my God, but like I hated what they did to the characters and like the new ones or whatever. It's just like, you don't have to really consider those canon.
Yeah,
like, it's just
I
like,
agree.
It's like if somebody walked up to you on the street and was just like, and then Luke Skywalker became a phone salesman and he was going around, and you're like, well, that's a really stupid story, and now I hate Star Wars because you ruined it. It's like, you don't have to listen to that guy who came up with that story. It's like, you just like the story that you like. And I understand that like, you know, somebody owns the property now and they're taking it in a direction that you don't like, and it could have been potentially owned by somebody that took it in a direction that you did like, and that would have been better. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, I guess I try and be grateful for the thing that I love that was released, rather than like in kind of the journey that took me on. And then like I'm hopeful for like cool new stuff to come out, but if it doesn't, or if stuff comes out and I don't like it, you know, no harm done, I guess. Not really.
Yeah, I guess it's just the balance for me. It's like the balance between somebody taking their shot and trying something. I mean, that has to be respected and, you know, valued. Like people trying to do something, whether it's original or just their take, or they're taking inspiration from like a lot of inspiration, like almost identical inspiration from something else. Yeah, I mean, like I appreciate that, but then there's the other side of like, sometimes it just feels lazy, you know, like, okay, well, you could have gone, like you said, like you could have gone a different direction, or you could have gone deeper with something, or I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's just like you said, like it doesn't matter at all, because they're trying what they want to try, and if it doesn't work, the people will speak, you know, the people will let them know. And if it does work, then great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, there's just so much out there. It doesn't matter. love what you love and don't care about the rest. Don't get don't get so upset about I don't see why they to get upset about it. It's more just okay, I guess they're doing another one of these things. I'll go over here and watch something different. But yeah, there's no reason to get.
I think people sort of end up feeling entitled to the content they consume, in a weird way, where I guess it's become more of an identity thing, and you have a whatever Star Trek T-shirt, to not harp on Star Wars.
I know it's
you have whatever property, and you're
or Jurassic Park or whatever.
Yeah, you start to make it a part of your personality.
Do you know they're coming out with another Jurassic Park?
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson, and there's some freaky dinosaurs that don't even look like they ever existed.
That's kind of went way far off course, but whatever.
Yeah, but if some kid loves that kind of crazy monster movie nonsense, then good, great.
Yeah,
I'm glad they got that story.
And that's another thing is a lot of times content isn't made for you. It's not made for an adult mindset. It's made for a 13-year-old, or this particular rendition of something might not be direct. You might not be their audience that they're trying to reach, but there could be a huge audience somewhere else that like you said, would love that. So
Yeah. And yeah, I feel like people just kind of, I don't know, I guess it's just wishing that it would be the way they want it to be, and they just kind of feel entitled to it being that way in a kind of weird fashion that I think is actually kind of counterproductive to how art is made, where it's usually I see this a lot in games, where in the whole video game industry and stuff, it's kind of cool how involved the community is, with a project or whatever. They'll even tweet at the developers, or ask them to change stuff about the game, or do stuff. And it's kind of in a way that just kind of becomes more of how that design by committee nonsense that happens in Hollywood that ends up making everything feel so bland. It's we're losing the vision of whoever the lead artist is. I feel they have a vision, they're going into it, and I'm not saying that there can't be suggestions and improvements, they can't actually be better off listening to somebody else's input, but everybody thinks that their input is the way to go, and the story to tell, and it just reaches a whole untold next level once they get a decent amount of people to agree with them online. And then they're just oh my God, the community wants this. What are you doing? You're not doing it the way we want it to be done. It's well, he's the artist, or she's the artist, making this thing the way that they wanted to make it. Why are you coming in and being no, I'm entitled to it being different, and you now work for us, and you're going to make this thing the way we want it to be made. It's if you have a vision that's that straightforward and concrete, then make your own art.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like you said before, there a lot of times these artists and creators are a little bit boxed in what they can really do, especially when they have somebody else paying for it. So yeah. Valentine's Day, do you agree with it? So long, very well, big cheerio, we'll be back soon. Not to get off course here, but